I would like to recognize the presence of Senator Kiko Pangilinan. Sir, good evening po. Sir, Senator Kiko.
Saan dyan?
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Good evening po. Welcome po dito sa ating Zoom.
Saan na saan? Ayan.
Good
Thank you so
evening
much.
po. Good evening, sir.
Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat.
Good
Magandang
evening
gabi
po, sir.
Good evening po, sir. Okay, so maybe we can start.
Sir Jun, I will give you the floor, sir.
Okay po, thank you. Good evening, Senator Kiko. And good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Zoom meeting with our candidate and hopefully our next Vice President, Mr. Francis Pancratius Nepomuceno Pangilinan, popularly known as Senator Kiko. And sir, this event is organized by Pinoy Pink Ninja Japan, headed by Mr. Roy Asiniero, and also with TLR Indonesia, headed by Mr. Bobby Galvez. So, mga kakamping, as we all know, our guest today, Senator Kiko is a lawyer by profession and a graduate of both the University of the Philippines. He also has a real or genuine degree of Master in Public Administration from the prestigious Harvard University JFK School of Government. He is a farmer by passion and has been one of the most productive senators who served our country since 2001. And one time he also served as the Presidential Assistant for Food Security and Agriculture Modernization under President Pinoy. And so as you can see, Senator Kiko is not just the husband of megastar Ms. Sharon Cuneta. He is a star of his own, although in another limelight. He is in the field of politics, governance, and public service. And so without further ado, I'll give you Senator Kiko and our future Vice President.
Thank you, John.
Yes, sir.
And to Roy and to Bobby and to everyone dito po sa Indonesia, sa Japan. Magandang gabi sa kanilang lahat, and thank you for taking time out from your own schedules to join us ngayong gabi dito sa ating kumustahan at talakayan. Gaya ng nabanggit kanina ni John, sana hindi na niya nabanggit, pero ang pangalan ko ay Francis Pancratius. Siyam kaming magkakapatid, 5 babae at 4 na lalaki. Hanggang ngayon nagtataka ako bakit ang pangalan ko ay Pancratius, dahil ang kuya ko ay Joseph Donato. Donato is my father's name, so June, the third siya. And my younger brother is Anthony Martin, and my youngest brother is John Raymond. Kaya ang ganda naman ng pangalan nila. Bakit ako naging Francis Pancratius? Pwede namang Francis Peter o kaya Francis Andrew. Pero ayun. Biro lang. So siyam kami magkakapatid. All 9 of us graduated from the University of the Philippines. So talagang malaki ang utang namin sa ating mga kababayan. Sila ang nagpaaral sa amin. Kami ang mga scholar ng bayan. Kaya kailangan namin suklian ng serbisyong tapat. Although I'm the only one in the family who is in politics. So tulad ni Vice President Leni Robredo, hindi ho kami ang Pangilinan, hindi ho dynastic. Ako lang sa siyam na magkakapatid ang pumasok sa politika. At tinatanong bakit ako ang pinili ni Vice President Leni. I guess pareho ang aming prinsipyo, hindi nalalayo ang aming paninindigan at ang aming pagtingin sa serbisyo publiko sa ating bansa. Gaya ni VP Leni, nung bata pa siyang abogado, siya ay abogado ng mga mahihirap. Alternative law ang kanyang naging career. Ako rin, abogado rin ako ng mga mahihirap. I was a collaborating lawyer sa ilang mga kaso with the Free Legal Assistance Group. Ang biro nga ng tatay ko minsan nung nung binata pa akong abogado, nililigawan ko pa si Sharon at dinala ko sa bahay para makilala yung mga magulang ko. Tanong ng tatay ko kay Sharon, ikaw ba, Sharon, ay sigurado ka ba dito sa anak ko? Sabi naman ni Sharon, bakit naman po? Kasi yan hindi lang yan abogado, abonado sa mga kliyente. Lahat ng kliyente niyan, halos lahat mahihirap. Kaya hindi siya marunong yumaman. Hindi siya naniningil ng mga kliyente niya. At siyempre si Sharon mahusay na magaling. No? So ang sagot naman ni Sharon sa kanya ganyan din ho ang tatay ko, malapit po sa mahihirap kasi my father-in-law was a mayor of Pasay City. So yun, ang biro pa nga ng tatay ko sa kanya, yan si attorney. Well, ang kwento kasi dyan, yung naging lawyer's fees ko sa isang kaso na ipanalo ko, isang manggagawa, tinanggal sa trabaho dahil laging, sabi, habitual tardiness. Pero nung pinag-aralan ko yung facts of the case, kaya pala siya laging tardy dahil isa lang yung bandy clock dun sa UP PGH. So pagdating nung pila, ang haba-haba, nung panahon na niyang time in, pasado alas 8 na, so late. Hindi niya kasalanan yun. Sabi ko doon sa argumento ko, dapat ang tanggalin dyan yung nagpatakbo ng isang bandy clock lang. Kailangan yung tagdagan. So ang binayaran sa akin ay isang bilao ng Biko. Kaya ang biro na naman niya kay Sharon, alam mo yan, si Attorney Biko Pangilinan. So ganun kami, palagay ko yun ang isa sa aming similarity with Vice President Lenny. We have always championed yung mga underdog at yung mga walang boses. Siguro kasama na rin yun sa adhikain natin bilang champion ng agriculture. It's the same. No? Sila ang pinakamahirap, sila ang pinakawalang-wala. At ang irony at injustice ay kung sino pa ang nagpapakain sa bansa, sila ang nagugutom. At yung kanilang mga anak ay napakataas ng rate ng malnutrition. So talagang for 10 years now, yun ang ating advocacy, food security at pagsuporta sa ating mga magsasaka at mangingisda dahil silang nagpapakain sa atin. Similarly, nung unang termino natin at hanggang sa ngayon, patuloy tayo naniniwala tulad ni Vice President Lenny na kinakailangan ma-inspire ang private sector para tumaya din. Ang isa sa mga tungkulin ng gobyerno is to create, the atmosphere that's conducive so that private sector will likewise invest. Private sector will be encouraged, sila ang pinakamalalim ang bulsa. Hindi naman ang gobyerno ang pinakamalalim na bulsa. Up to 20% ng GDP ang gobyerno. Pero ang 80% talagang sektor ng private sector, iba-ibang industriya. Kaya kung sino ang pinakamalalim ang bulsa, dapat para maglabas ng pondo, dapat may kumpiyansa sa gobyerno, number 1, at dapat number 2 ay nai-inspire at nagkakaroon ng kumpiyansa na tumaya. Pag nakikita nilang maayos ang pagtaya ng gobyerno, maayos din ang magiging taya ng pribadong sektor. So yun ang isa sa mga layunin din natin matagal na bilang lingkod bayan. We partnered with many private sector organizations to address community problems. Sa problema ng school building, nakipag-ugnayan tayo sa Filipino-Chinese Chamber of Commerce para sa school building program na kung saan kalahati ng presyo ng public works school building yung naitatayo nung partnership namin. Ganun din sa Gawad Kalinga. Nung una, sinasabi dapat ilagay yung pondo sa National Housing Authority. Ang sabi ko, kung ganun din lang, baka maubos lang sa burokrasya at walang mangyari sa bureaucratic red tape. Ginawa natin ng paraan, nag-partner with Gawad Kalinga, nag-partner with local governments at yung government funding nilaan natin doon. At sa awa ng Diyos, By the time we ended our first term, tayo ang pinakamalaking pondo na nilaan para sa Gawad Kalinga Housing. At nag-umpisa kami ng partnership with Gawad Kalinga. 20 lang ang Gawad Kalinga sites outside of Metro Manila. But by the 6th year, 1,000 na ang Gawad Kalinga sites dahil na nag-multiply na, nagka-multiplier effect na yung ating suporta. And several other partnerships with the private sector. Ang pinakahuli yung sa Gipsaka Act, nag-partnership tayo with Jollibee Foundation, 15 farming communities ang sinuportahan ng private sector ng ating tanggapan at yung Jollibee at yung mga magsasaka mismo, kasama ang DA. Ganun din sa Nestle, yung mga coffee farmers natin, nag-partner din tayo with Nestle and the DA and my office to support the farming communities. So pretty much siguro nung hiniling sa atin ni Vice President Lenny na tumakbo, although hindi yun ang original natin plano, naisip natin, duty, we are facing the worst economic crisis in 40 years, the worst health crisis in 100 years. And dahil gusto natin mahanapan ng solusyon yung matitinding problemang ito bilang lingkod bayan, nakita natin na sa lahat ng mga naghahangad na maging susunod na Pangulo, si Vice President Lenny na una hesitant din pero kumbaga tumaya na rin, siya ang pinaka-qualified, ako'y naniniwala. She has the extensive experience sa grassroots, extensive experience sa COVID response in the last almost 2 years. And maliwanag sa kanya no, na yung pagpapatakbo niya ng kanyang opisina ay talagang sterling at committed talaga sa excellence. And that's what we need. And I felt when she asked me and inisip ko yung bansa, sa halip na yung sarili kong plano na re-election lang, sige na, sabi ko, isasantabi ko na yung aking sariling plano at hanapan ng paraan dahil naniniwala akong dapat manalo si VP Lenny at suportahan dapat. So yun, and nakita ko rin na and finally, magandang pagkakataon na dalhin sa mas mataas na antas yung advokasya natin ng agrikultura at pangingisda. Dahil sa totoo lang, at ito'y naging karanasan rin ng marami pang ibang bansa, na hanggat hindi natin tinututukan ang kahirapan, which is largely a rural phenomenon, and ang livelihood nila talaga ay pangingisda at pagsasaka, ay hindi magiging sustainable ang ating economic growth. Magiging boom and bust niya dahil mayat maya nandiyan ang kahirapan, mayat maya dyan na pupunta. No, yung ating mga problema, dyan na pupunta ang resources dahil nga prevalent pa rin ang poverty and hunger. And so, we saw the vice presidential position as an opportunity to further our advocacies with the help of the tandem, the Robredo Pangilinan tandem, and with your help also. So, siyempre, ang gusto rin natin para sa ating mga overseas Filipinos, hanggat maaari, hindi dapat nagiging compulsion yung mag-ibang bansa para maghanap ng trabaho. Kung hindi option na dapat yung trabaho ay available dito sa ating bansa na high-paying at quality jobs. Kahit hindi kasing taas, wag naman masyadong malayo. Hindi ba? Siyempre, initially, hindi naman pwedeng ganun competitive ang magiging sweldo. Pero wag naman yung ganung kalayo. Kasi I'm sure many of our kababayans, kahit mas mababa ang sweldo sa Pilipinas, basta hindi namang masyadong malayo, tatanggapin na nila sa halip na mahiwalay sa ating mga mahal sa buhay at nalalagay sa mga kondisyon na exploitative, discriminatory, and talagang mahirap. No? So we'd like to see an economy that is sustainable and precisely addresses the gaps, yung income levels, and hopefully, and we know it can be done. Si President Aquino, Noynoy Aquino, naipamalas niya at naipakita niya kung paano ma-turn around ng economy. Hindi na buo kasi kahit naman sino bang kung merong naniniwala na 6 na taon pwede ka nang maging first world nation, hindi ho totoo yun. Nanloloko lang yun at hindi ka panipaniwala. But had there been another 6 years perhaps of continuity, baka talagang iba na ang mukha ng ating ekonomiya ngayon. But having said that, hindi pa huli ang lahat, pero kinakailangan talagang piliin ang karapat-dapat sa darating na Mayo dahil talagang we have to vote as if our lives depended on it, because to a large extent it does. After seeing how COVID has killed a lot of our people. Daming nagkasakit, maraming namatay, maraming nawalan ng trabaho dahil sa kakupad, corrupt at hindi maliwanag, pabago-bago ng patakaran. At leadership yan, function of leadership. So yun na siguro. I hope to be able to answer a number of your questions, and thank you again for this opportunity na makausap kayong lahat ngayong gabi. Maraming salamat.
Thank you very much, sir. Maraming salamat po. And so we have some questions coming from our participants today. I would like to start with Mr. Leo Fetiza.
Thank you, June. Good evening, Senator Pangilinan.
Ay, magandang gabi.
Yes, I'm Leo, and I happen to work also with the Senate in 2004 to 2006 with Senate
Okay.
President Drilon, sir. I was the
Okay.
military aide. Nakikita niyo, sir, siguro sa mga meetings.
Yeah,
ng
that's
Liberal.
right. Oo.
Yes, sir.
Kumusta?
Yes, sir.
Kumusta?
Thank you, sir. Okay naman po, sir. Nasa ano po ako ngayon, sir? Nasa international organization po. So, sir,
Amadeo Cavite.
yes, sir. You have a farm in Alfonso, sir, I know.
Yes, oo.
We have the
10
same
years na.
passion on agriculture also.
That's true. Oo. Ikaw
Yes,
ay
sir.
taga Cavite.
Yung wife ko, sir.
Okay. So ikaw
Yes, sir.
ay katulad ko, naturalized Caviteño.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hindi
Yes, sir.
natural born, naturalized. Okay, go
Yes,
ahead.
sir.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, by the way, my question is actually related with agriculture, and I think many of us can connect with this because after we retire and go back to the Philippines, we will engage many of us into farming. And then you mentioned earlier yung importance ng private sector to infuse funds, especially on agriculture. And I believe many overseas Filipino workers can connect with this one. My experience is firsthand with the transfer of karamihan ng mga problema ng mga farmers, sir, and those who want to engage in agriculture is the transfer of property ownership, land ownership sa Pilipinas. It involves you need to get in touch with BIR, Department of Agrarian Reform for the dark clearance, and the Register of Deeds. For the dark clearance alone, isang katutak na requirements ang kailangan. And then, if you are from the private sector, and then kung gusto mo mag-own ng land, para mas madali na lang proseso, magbayad ka na lang. Kasi ganun, reality on the ground, talagang mabagal talaga. It will take more than a year probably. Or if not, parang madi-deny ka pa. You might go into the wrong agent. Sir, I hope this is not a question, but an appeal probably if you win. Perhaps one of the most neglected areas yung property ownership transfer, kung paano pabilisin, sir. We hope that you can look into and you can put this as one of your priorities of government. We know that you have high chance of winning, sir, with our support. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, thank you. We'll look into this, no? Kasi kahit ako, nararanasan ko yan, no? Dito sa Alfonso, yung napakaraming requisitos bago nga magkaroon ng title to the property, no? I think, but the big picture is, first, we should have a national land use plan. Dapat maliwanag yun. Kasi nga, dinadaan sa dinadaan sa local government, tapos DA, etc. No? BIR, ang daming talagang requisitos. But I think the overarching policy really should be, number one, there has to be a National Land Use Act para yung mga agricultural lands remain agricultural, hindi yung pinaka-prime agricultural land not nako-convert into subdivisions, residential, commercial. No? Lumalaki ang ating populasyon pero hindi naman lumalaki ang lupa. Makokompromiso ang food security kung wala ng prime agricultural lands. No? So that's the big picture. But going down to yung points mo, that is true. No? I think that is one aspect na kinakailangang busisiin, not just ng agriculture, not just ng local government, but I think the national government through the Department of Finance also, kasi ang daming mga hindi talaga gumagalaw, no, yung ekonomiya, lalo na pagkaganyang delayed itong mga proper processing ng mga documentation, no, nung land titles, no. So really we have to look into this and we're willing to put things together and figure out anong magandang para mapabilis at ma-fast track ito. Apart from that, if there's anything else we can do initially, it really will require a legislation para talagang mailagay sa ilalim ng isang proseso lamang at hindi yung paiba-ibang proseso, paiba-ibang ahensya. Sabi nga nila dun sa mayroon kasi nakikinabang sa inefficiency. Pero 'di ba? Very short-sighted, 'di ba? Very short-sighted at siyempre nakikinabang, kumikita ba't babaguhin? Na hindi rin dapat, hindi rin tama because apektado ang buong ease of doing business, yung transactions, etc. na delay, hindi panatag, and this needs to be addressed.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Ano bang may farm ka ba sa Amadeo? May farm ba yung pamilya nyo?
Yes, sir. May farm kami, sir. Recently, naka-acquire kami, sir, sa Amadeo, sir.
So may
Yes,
kape
sir.
kayo, may saging, may prutas, langka.
Merong kape, sir, intercropping, sir. I also saw the YouTube video of your farm. Ang galing ng farm niyo, sir. Model yun.
Oo.
Model yung farm niyo, sir.
Well, hindi rin madali. Nami-miss ko na nga eh. Sabi ko mas madaling kausap yung gulay kaysa mga politiko.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, actually, kung ma-simplify yung process ng land transfer, sir, marami talaga mga farm na bakante na kung investor ka, gusto mo ma-own, pero hindi ganun kadali yung proseso, sir. So, I thank you very much for your help, sir.
It's really a damper. Part of the ease of doing business eh.
Yes, sir.
Pagka ganyan yung business practices and business environment, di ba? Hindi siya conducive. Talagang hindi lalabas ang investment o mabagal.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much,
Thank you, sir.
Leo.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. And next person who's going to ask, Miss Wia Nangpi from Indonesia, right?
No po.
Please go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Mia Nangki and I represent Tokyo for Lenny and Kiko. So,
Oh, okay.
hello po. Konbanwa minasan.
Konbanwa.
Sir, hello po. Yeah, Senator, good evening po. My question is, some people do not see the enormity of being a leader and the seriousness of being a leader. People see it as a privilege rather than a responsibility. What message can you give these people?
I wish there were more of those who saw it as a responsibility rather than a privilege. No? Ako kasi, I remember when we decided, when I agreed to accept the offer of VP to be her vice president. Naalala ko, nagkausap kami over dinner ni Sharon. Pinag-uusapan namin kasi nga, a few days after, parang hindi namin alam kung ano sumagasa sa amin dahil talaga hindi yun ang plano namin. Bigla na lang nagising kami na kakandidato na for vice president. It happened also fast and very quick because we weren't really planning to run. But anyway, having said that, nag-uusap nga kami ni Sharon at sabi nga niya sa akin, when you think about it nga naman, serving is all that I know since I was 15 years old. I was in the student council in my high school years, my 3rd year and 4th year high school, and then also in college. So I guess, that was what was instilled in me, that, public office is, is serving the people. It's not, diba? It's not about privilege. It's not about making one parang an opportunity to advance in terms of, wealth, diba? It really is, a commitment, an advocacy, diba? Yung servant leadership. So my message to those, especially the young ones, diba? Kung ang plano ninyo ay yumaman, sumikat, wag na lang kayong mag-public service. Diyan na lang kayo sa private sector. Diba? Wag niyo nang isipin kasi magkakadagdag lang kayo sa problema ng bansa. Kumbaga dapat pure ang dapat maliwanag ang iyong intentions and your beliefs. Diyan sa Japan, di ba? Magkaroon lang ng issue di ba? Hindi naman harakiri, pero nagre-resign, di ba? Dati nag-harakiri. Pero di ba, honor, di ba? Napakahalaga ng honor. So dapat magandang halimbawa yung ating mga, di ba? Yung ating mga Asian neighbors who resign, di ba? Because of di ba? It's the honorable thing to do when you foul up, no? So there, my message to the youth especially, what are your intentions? What are your motivations? Because if you think, uy, wow, ang gagara ng sasakyan ng mga politiko, uy, sikat sila, uy, di ba? Kilala sa buong Pilipinas, etc. Kung yun lang ang ninyo, mag-showbiz na lang kayo. Huwag na lang kayong pumasok sa politika. Sisikat din naman kayo, kikita pa kayo. But your intentions have to be precisely, and especially today, we have the worst economic crisis in 40 years, the worst health crisis in 100 years. Diba? Hindi ito biro-biro. And you put it right. The enormity and the burden of leadership. It's a burden. Lalo na ako, hindi naman ako ipal, hindi naman ako mahilig gusto ko lang magtrabaho at solusyonan ng problema. Yan ang tinuro sa amin. Di ba? Maghanap ng solusyon sa problema. So talagang mabigat. And my last point, I think kaya rin ako naluha ewan ko kung napanood niyo yung aking pagtanggap ng offer ni VP Lenny. Ako'y maluha-luha. Dalawa yun. Natuwa ako dahil tinanggap ni Lenny yung hamon at nalungkot ako dahil tinanggap ko yung hamon. Dahil sabi ko, hindi itong hamon na ito, napakabigat na tungkulin. So there, I hope I answered your question. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much, Wia. And then we'll have, I'm not sure if you are related. Okay, Marlon. Okay, Marlon Nangpi.
I'm sorry. That was my wife, Wia, a while ago.
Oh.
Yes, sir. My question is, ano po yung nagbabasa kami yung mga plataforma ng party ni Miss Lenny and yours, and we're just wondering kung ano sa tingin niyo yung, if there's a big three or a big four sa mga position, mga cabinet positions sa administration. Well, for example, sa Amerika meron tayong state secretary, defense, treasury, and justice. Ano sa palagay niyo yung big three ng Pilipinas? At sino yung balak niyong i-assign sa mga positions na yun?
Well, hindi
Kung
pa
may-
namin
Opo.
hindi pa namin napag-uusapan yung mga posisyon kasi kailangan manalo muna. No? But kailangan din siyempre may plano. No? That's probably why you're asking this. No? You want to know if we are clear about what we intend to do. No? You know, si Vice President Lenny for 5.5 years has had regular briefings, economic briefings, security briefings with all these experts. She really, you know, made sure. Kasi alam mo sa constitution natin, wala naman talagang responsibilidad ang vice presidente kung hindi to take over pag namatay ang presidente. Yun lang ang constitutional role niya, succession. Hindi nakalagay na dapat siya may cabinet post. Wala. Succession lang in the event that the president. So she took that seriously by preparing, by being prepared, by having all these briefings. So you can rest assured, no, that she is abreast and updated with respect to all, you know, the challenges and the issues confronting the nation. She had, you know, and that's precisely also why she was able to do so much with so little. No? Dahil talagang pinaghandaan niya at pinag-a-analyze niya yung mga problema at paano mahanapan ng solusyon. But having said that, I think, of course, the economy, no? So that will mean the economic team is critical. Hindi lang yung isang tao. So that's the DOF, the DBM, the NEDA. No? Yan, critical yan because we're facing precisely the worst economic crisis since the 80s, since the Aquino assassination. Of course, health is also critical. And she already publicly presented her COVID response plan backed by 2 former secretaries of health. So in that regard, we are also ready to step in and, you know, and intervene with a clear-cut plan, deliverables. And I believe hunger and poverty is a key challenge that needs addressing, and this will be really the Department of Agriculture. Poverty is really largely a rural phenomenon, and the main source of income in the rural areas would still be the bulk, no? Would still be fishing and agriculture. And we have neglected agriculture for so many years, and this precisely is one of the factors that has made our economic growth unsustainable. Because unless you address the poorest of the poor and address the challenges that they face in terms of being lifted out of poverty, mananatiling mahirap ang ating bansa. Hindi sustainable yung interventions. Isang kahig, isang tuka pa rin ang ating mga magsasaka. So agriculture is key for sustainable economic growth and finally addressing hunger and poverty in the country.
Maraming salamat po, Senador.
Salamat. Thank you then.
Nakamute si June, sorry.
Thank you very much, Marlon. So ready for the next one, sir? We'll have
Sure.
Ms. Maan Kaagusan.
Maan.
Ms. Maan?
Baka nag-may I go out? Or...
Okay. We'll go to the next one then. Mr. Emerson Colasito.
Emerson.
Sir June, I don't think he is in the room.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. And then we'll have Mr. Roy Asiniero na lang. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, good evening po.
Good evening.
Good evening, Sen Kiko. Okay. Ako po si Roy Siniero. Ako po yung founder po ng Pinoy Pink Ninja for Lenny dito sa Japan. So, maraming salamat at mapabulakan niyo po kami. So, yung question ko po, so alam po natin ang posisyon ng pangalawang Pangulo, nasabi niyo nga kanina, para pong reserbang gulong. Di po ba? Kung papalarin kayong manalo sa halalang ito, at makahalili ng sino mang mananalong Pangulo. Bagamat, para sa amin, si VP Lenny ang the best. Anong peso sa gabinete ang nais ninyong pamunuan, Sen Kiko? At bakit?
Well, unang-una, desisyon niya ng presidente. Hindi tayo pwedeng hindi natin pwedeng pangunahan ang sino mang pangulo tungkol diyan. Pero kung ako'y makakatulong, palagay ko ang aking experience sa kabinete ni President Noynoy bilang Food Security Secretary would be where I can be most helpful. Again, I will say that really all depends on the president at his call. We cannot second guess him or pangunahan siya. But having said that nga, kung ako'y makakatulong sa hanay ng agrikultura para mapawi na ang gutom at matugunan na ang kahirapan, yun ang gagawin ko. Dahil ako'y naniniwala, in the end, we are still food insecure. Ang ating mga kabataan, ang ating mga anak, marami ay stunted at malnourished, no? Mahal ang presyo ng pagkain sa Pilipinas kung ikukumpara sa ibang bansa sa ASEAN. Ang gastusin ng mga mahihirap, napakalaki. Halos 70% ng kinikita ng ating mga kababayang mahihirap napupunta lamang sa pagkain. Kaya prevalent ang gutom. And so for us to secure our food, we have to secure our farmers and our fisher folk. Yan ang ating paniniwala at yan din ang pinaniniwalaan ng mga eksperto. And when you secure your farmers and your fisher folk, ibig sabihin, dapat mataas o maganda ang kanilang kita. Di ba? Dapat merong suportado ng gobyerno by way of crop insurance, by way of calamity assistance, by way of access to credit, no? Access to the markets. Kinakailangan yung ating farmers malayo na sa isang kahig, isang tuka at mapunta na sa farm enterprise management and development, which is what our ASEAN neighbors have done. No? Naka-benchmark sa income. Kasi ano namang ang saysay ng lahat ng programa ng gobyerno kung yung income ng ating mga magsasaka at mangingisda ay hindi naman nagbabago. Wala nang magsasaka, yung ating mga kabataan magko-call center na lang. Pag nangyari yun, sana natin kukunin yung pagkain natin? But simply put, secure your farmers. Pagka maganda ang kita at may suporta, maengganyo silang magtanim, gaganda ang kanilang productivity, tataas ang harvests. At pagka maganda na ang supply ng karne, ng manok, ng baboy, ng bigas, ng gulay, pababa ang presyo ng pagkain. Pag bumaba na ang presyo ng pagkain, di na tugunan na natin yung gutom. So yun pretty much ang nais nating makita. And Vice President Lenny has said she will double the agriculture budget in the first year to about 120 billion. Which is currently kasi kung budget lang ng DA, 70+ billion lang, 72 billion.
Okay, thank you very much.
Maraming salamat po. Maraming salamat.
Salamat din.
Thank you, Sir Roy. Yeah, thanks, sir. And we'll have Miss Grace Abelyazata from TLR Indonesia.
Okay. Good evening, sir. I'm actually based here in the Philippines. And I have two questions. One is, tuwing na lang eleksyon, lahat ng mga politiko, ilang taon na to ha, ilang dekada na to, palagi na lang nangangako tungkol sa agrikultura. Naaayusin daw nila, pero wala namang nangyayari. My question is, why do I feel that this time is going to be different? And then, I'm sorry ha, I have another question. I want to get your point of view, yours and VP Lenny's point of view about foreign direct investments. Okay, because mayroong itong pinaghuhugutan ko, sir. I am a headhunter and my company belongs to a network of executive search firms that has a presence in 40 countries. I belong to the agri-science practice. Nagre-refer kami ng jobs to each other. Example, may seed company in the Netherlands na may presence din sa Vietnam and Malaysia. So we refer jobs to each other. Ang napapansin ko, ang Philippines, palagi na lang ako wala. Kasi kukonti ang mga kumpanya dito, kukonti ang kumpanya in agriculture at lalo na rin in manufacturing. Ang question ko is, will you welcome and encourage foreign investments in agribusiness? Narinig ko sa isang joint foreign chambers presentation, discourage daw ang mga foreigners or foreign companies to invest in the Philippines in agribusiness kasi ang liliit ng ating mga land holdings gawa ng land reform. Ngayon, ang isang point of view, isang prerequisite ng economic growth ay foreign direct investment dahil it brings in capital accumulation, science, technology, and innovation. At ngayon, 'di ba, ang daming bagong innovations in agriculture. And then competition. Pero tayo ba, mas gusto ba natin to maintain yung palakasin na lang natin yung ating mga small farmers, yung ating mga small land holdings? Or is it going to be a combination? How important is it to bring science, technology, and innovation into the Philippines? And are foreign direct investments the way to do it? Yun lang, sir.
Thank you. Thesis na yung tanong nyo. Pero I'll try to be as succinct as possible. Of course, we are interested in foreign direct investments. We are a laggard, actually, in foreign direct investments in the ASEAN. And that is one reason why, precisely, yung ating economic growth has been parang, how do you call it? Boom and bust. No? Hindi natin ma-sustain. No? Now, the issue of land holdings, critical yan. Totoo yan, yung small land holdings. But you know that first, neglected talaga yung agriculture sa bansa. You know, our exports last 2020 was about, or 2019, was about almost just under $6 billion. Agri-exports. Thailand was 33 billion, di ba? Indonesia was more, no? A little more ang Indonesia. Medyo nakalampas na siya sa Thailand. Vietnam was about 17 billion. No? So talagang doon pa lang makikita mo na tayo laggard, di ba? Kulelat sa agriculture. And why will the foreigners invest if government itself is not putting its money where its mouth is? Diba? Na napakababa ng government spending sa agriculture. Government spending is around 2% of GDP. But, Thailand is almost 5%. Same with Malaysia. Malaysia is only what? Wala pang 30 million ang population. Diba? So yun, doon pa lang, and that's why Vice President Lenny is saying we will double the agri budget in the first year. No? Precisely because when government is investing, diba, in agriculture, then it will be a signal to the private sector na sige, hindi na pinababayaan yung agrikultura ng gobyerno, di tayo rin magkaka-interest na mamuhunan at mag-invest. So that's one. No? with respect to small land holdings, I visited Thailand in 2012. At that time, they were the #1 exporter of natural rubber. No, natural rubber in the entire planet. And yet, when I asked them about their land holdings, the average rubber rubber farm is not even 1 hectare. But they did blocking. They aggregated. In other words, yes, small land holdings will not give you economies of scale. But that's why the approach there is you do block farms. You cluster them. And that is the intervention should be from government, no? But there are private sector initiatives. For example, the La Frutera Farm. It's a banana plantation, about 2,000 hectares in Maguindanao. Si former Secretary Sen Bacani of the Department of Agriculture is actually the one running that, CEO. And these are block farms. These are rebel returnees, and they leased the land. La Frutera leased the land from these small tenants, diba? And when they found out that the cost of lease is just 1% of the cost of overall production, they made it a policy. Let's double the lease, the rates of the lease. It's only 2% of the overall cost of production kasi double from 1 to 2, pero 100% increase sa income ng mga farmers, no? So yun, block, 'di ba? Block farming, leasing, apart from that, nag-advance rental pa sila, advance payment ng lease kasi nakita nila na marami pala doon sa lupa nakasanla. At mareremata na. So again, kinumpute nila, binayaran nila. The point here is that they mobilize resources around the farmer. Diba? So that the farmer, again, the #1 resource in any organization is your human resource. And pag may gera, yung BIFF, MILF, walang gera dun sa 2,000 hectares na yun. Kasi mga kamag-anak ng mga rebelde, yung mga lessor dun eh. Ayaw nilang mawalan sila ng kita. Diba? So again, Exhibit A that, when you transform, diba, your swords into plowshares, diba, then peace will reign, diba? Yun. Yung agri-science, yung headhunters, kasi nga, neglected ang agri-industries natin eh. So paano ka magkakaroon ng pool kung neglected? Lahat sila pumupunta sa ibang bansa, di ba? Nandun sila, hindi dito. Doon sila nagkakaroon ng kanilang training. Interesting pa nga na pumupunta dito itong mga taga-ASEAN mag-training sa ating mga training institutions, di ba? Pero tayo di natin ginagamit yung know-how natin. So I hope I was able to answer your question. No? But again, going back to foreign direct investment, if government puts its money where its mouth is, then you will have the signals, investors, both local and abroad, na seryoso tong gobyernong to, nilalagyan nila ng tamang pondo ang agrikultura at at pag maganda ang palakad, then ma-inspire din ang private sector pumasok.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Zata. Okay. And then we'll have Sir Bobby.
Maraming salamat. Magandang gabi po, Senator Kiko.
Yes, good evening.
Kami po ay taga Team Lenny Robredo, Indonesia. Ang mga expats po dito sa Indonesia has been here 15, 20 to 30 years.
Yes.
At nakita po namin na kung paano nalagpasan ng Indonesia ang Pilipinas sa per capita income. Noon mas advanced ng gusto ang Pilipinas, and mandaming expats ang nagtatrabaho dito, tinutulungan ng Indonesia at tumampas ang Indonesia sa Pilipinas. So nakasakit po ng puso ang ganitong pangyayari. At ngayon, nalampasan na, we expect Indonesia to be an industrialized country based on per capita within 5 years. ganun po yung situation. Ang tanong ko po yung tungkol din po sa foreign direct investment. Nakikita po namin na nalalampasan ang nalalampasan na naman ang Pilipinas ng mga investment na from China lumilipat sa Indonesia, sa Vietnam, yung iba po lumilipat din dito. So, bukod dun sa agriculture o yung mga nabanggit nyo, ang palagay ko, ang base din doon yung manufacturing. Paano ma-encourage ang mga investment na umaalis mula China na sa Pilipinas pumunta? Kasi walang nagpunta ng Pilipinas eh. Sa lahat sila. Tapos marami din sa Indonesia. Tapos, ang nakita din namin, dito sa Indonesia, talagang malinaw yung plano nila. Like for example, sa electric vehicles, nakikipag-usap na sila sa Tesla para mag-develop ng electric vehicles dito kasi marami din ang bina dito sa nickel. Samantalang meron din sa Pilipinas. So, una, yung tanong ko, paano natin talaga ma-encourage ang foreign direct investment na lumipat sa Pilipinas? Pangalawa, saan ba kayo na i-lift yung mga foreign restrictions of investment sa Constitution na i-allow ang 100% investment? Kasi isa to sa sinasabing pumipigil sa foreign investment. Muted po kayo.
Well, let's look at the facts, di ba? The 6 years of President Noynoy Aquino, the foreign direct investments in the 6 years of Pinoy was more than all the foreign direct investments combined from the time of Cory, Ramos, Erap, Gloria. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Di ba? The data, we can share with you the data. Na good governance is the #1 attractor of foreign direct investments. Pagka 5 successive credit rating upgrades, di ba? Pagka nakapag-uplift ng 7 million people out of poverty, di ba, in the 6 years because of the conditional cash transfer, no? Yung underspending was finally curbed, no? And 7.2% GDP average is 6.3%, di ba? A year. All that led to the largest direct investments since the restoration of democracy. Di ba? Which tells you that good governance, leveling the playing field, respect for the rule of law are fundamentals. We can go into the debate and discussion of lifting these restrictions. But my worry there is, given the current leadership, ang makikinabang lang dyan sa lifting na yan, China. Sila na may-ari ng Pilipinas. Diba? There is also a geopolitical consideration and the timing. But having said that, we didn't have to go through charter change for all the achievements of President Noynoy. No? And I agree, maybe at some point we have to look at that. But to go into that and not to address the issue of good governance, ay ubos na tayo. Paggising natin, probinsya na tayo ng China, di ba? So yan ang mga major considerations. But I think, and having said that, that's why the 2022 elections is critical. We need good governance. We need servant leaders. Oh, and I forgot to answer the second question of Grace, or the first question, yung why should we, lahat ng politiko. Totoo naman, wala namang politiko magsasabi ako ay for corruption, di ba? Lahat magsasabi I'm against corruption, di ba? Lahat magsasabi I'm against poverty. Pero in the end, at ito naman ang aking payo sa aking mga anak na babae, pag sila mamimili ng lifetime partner, piliin nila yung katulad nung tatay nila. Hindi, biro lang. Tingnan nila yung track record, 'di ba? Nung mga manliligaw nila, 'di ba? May respeto ba sa tatay at nanay? 'Di ba? Mahal ba niya yung kanyang mga kapatid? 'Di ba? At nakikita mo ba yung kanyang pagmamahal sa kapatid niya? O binabastos ba niya yung tatay at nanay niya at binawalang hiya niya yung mga kapatid niya? Dahil, 'di ba, sabi nga nila, past behavior is the best indicator for future behavior. So track record, 'di ba? To answer Grace, track record. Tingnan natin yung track record. Ako 30 taon na sa local at national government. I have never been involved in any corruption scandal or any scandal. Yung I'm involved in not really involved. I've been made involved by fake news, 'di ba? Na daming chismis nilalam, nagkakalat ng paninira. Pero kung ako mismo yung wala namang tayong So track record is really important. And I hope and I believe, sabi ko, pinangako ko noong 2016 na ipa-priority natin ang agrikultura. At ginawa naman natin na ipasa yung Republic Act 11321, yung Sagip-Sakal Law. Tayo ang principal author noon. Napasa yung Coco Levy Trust Fund Measure. Tayo rin ang principal author noon. Napasa yung amendments to the Organic Agriculture Act. Tayo rin ang principal author noon at tinulungan natin ang chairman para na si Cynthia Villar. So I'd like to think my track record speaks for itself. When I was chairman of the National Authority, dahil ginawa akong Food Security Secretary, we rejected bids that were too high 4 times. And that was the first time in the history of NFA na nagka-failed bidding dahil ang dahilan masyadong mataas yung price. Dahil pinagkakakitaan nung Thailand, nung traders, nung Vietnam at nung NFA dahil sa kickback. So we rejected it 4 times and we saved the government 6 billion pesos. Yung Coco Lisap infestation in Region 4A, 2 million trees ang naninilaw na at mamamatay na dahil sa Coco Lisap. Pumasok tayo. We mobilized the LGU, we mobilized the academe, yung UP Los Baños Crop Management Institute. We mobilized the PNP para sa mga checkpoint. And in 6 months' time, yung Coco Lisap was managed from 57 hotspots to 1 hotspot. I'm reminded by the COVID virus. Kasi sabi ko noon sa Coco Lisap, sabi ko sa PCA, sabi ko, hindi naman nag-iisip yung Coco Lisap na yan . Diba? Tao tayo, nag-iisip tayo. Ba't tayo magpapatalo dyan? Kailangan isipin lang natin at gawin natin yung dapat gawin. Pero papayag ba tayong mapatalo tayo ng isang insektong hindi nag-iisip? Ganun din yung virus. Hindi tayo dapat nagpapatalo doon sa virus. Hindi naman nag-iisip yung virus . Yun din, problema nga lang, hindi rin iniisip ng maayos ng mga dapat nag-iisip. Kaya hanggang ngayon, kulela tayo sa COVID response. But anyway, I hope I answered the question of Bobby and of Grace. Unless Bobby has a follow-up question. Really, in the end, good governance. In the last 6 years, I can give you all the data. The 6 years of Pinoy were really good governance years, and we saw the positive effects of that. Hindi kompleto, di ba? Sabi ko nga, wala namang bansa ang pwedeng maging first world nation in 6 years. But we were on our way there. Medyo na discareer ngayon, pero kailangan sa May 2022 ibalik natin dun sa good governance.
Okay, thanks.
Salamat po, Senator Kiko. TLR Indonesia has your full support.
Salamat. Salamat.
Thank you, sir. We are almost time, or is it okay? Do you have time for a couple more of questions, sir? Or
yes, okay. A few more questions is fine.
Okay, thank you very much. So, quick questions, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have Miss Miles Borja, TLR Japan.
Hello po, Senator Kiko. First of all, thank you po dun sa The Ruma Eye painting video na pinadala niyo po sa amin.
Yeah, I hope I did it right.
Yes po. And we were very inspired by your message then.
Yes. Thank you for bringing it. It's here. It's right here. It's staring at me.
Pag nanalo po kayo, you have to paint the other eye.
Oo, kasi parang nakakilat eh.
Opo. Yes. Senator, ang tanong ko po, kasi I work for a renewable energy company, German renewable energy company here in Japan. I reach out to my colleagues in the Philippines. We have a branch in the Philippines, and I campaigned for you and VP Lenny to them. And one of the questions they posed to me is, they're very willing to support you and VP Lenny, provided that they hear or they would know whether you will support renewable energy business in the coming years, because I gathered from them that it's very hard for them to do business, especially that it's a foreign-owned company, and that the business they do in the Philippines is very limited as of now. So that's the question. Will you pave the way, or will you help pave the way for renewable energy business to thrive in the Philippines?
Yeah. Well, I'm an organic farmer. 10 years now. And organic farming and renewable energy resource go hand in hand. In fact, my farm is partially powered by solar energy. And we'd like to see that, more of that. Renewable energy is precisely the energy of the future. And we really have to figure out a way to be able to transition from dirty coal and even gas to a certain extent, and find other sources of energy, wind, solar. Well, we do have hydro and we have geothermal. So yes, we must prepare ourselves, for the future. That is the future, and electricity dito sa electric vehicles is also, all in the context of syempre yung climate crisis, and what are our contributions to ensure, that we can together, still, redirect the direction of the planet in terms of climate change and the attendant interventions necessary to be able to solve yung climate change crisis we're facing.
Thank you po, Senator.
Thank you. And dun sa problema again nung marami pang mga challenges, investments, but again, the first step is good governance. The first step is to make sure that there is good governance.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And in the interest of time, can we have one last question from Mr. Roel?
Nice, thank you. Nice to meet you po, Sir Kiko.
Yes, Roel.
I just want to say, I'm an astrologer here in Japan. I just want to say na, like 5 years ago, nakita ko na po na tatakbo kayong vice president. And I also saw na you'd be winning, but I'm not sure if it's in the first, second, or third try. But let's wish it's in the first try. So, ang question ko po, sir,
after my first try, if I don't win, I will just go into farming full time. So, probably one try. I hope.
You should, sir. Well, sir, ang question ko po yung, kasi nabanggit niyo yung about sa Tokyo Protocol, yung before pa to yung bawat land merong kikitain na ang farmer dahil sa nako-contribute niyang oxygen. So, ito ba ay pwede in any ways kung paano kung pwede nating mas ma-advertise kasi hindi alam ng mga tao to na magsasaka na pwede silang kumita at bayaran ng Japan through their farms at sa mga puno nila.
Yes. Well, I'll be honest, no. I don't know the details. I read about that, but I think that would be more kasi in the area of the Department of Environment, yung tree planting rather than tree farming. Well, actually, tree farming is also hindi siya agriculture. Eh. Ang saklaw niyan is the Department of Environment. But I agree. No, there are tree farms, mahogany, pero sabi nga nila dapat endemic. And I'd like to get more information regarding that as to how. Kasi kung, ano naman yan eh. Ultimately, it's all convergence. Eh. Watershed. Watershed is really the area of the Department of Environment. Diba? You protect your watershed. But it's also agriculture because without the watershed, you won't have any water for irrigation. Diba? So you have to protect your watershed area. So convergence talaga lahat yan para ma-ensure yung ecosystem will address our food security concerns. So I'd like to know more about this. Pero
Sir,
yeah.
Ba't malapit sa puso niyo ang agriculture?
Well, that's a good question. I have always despised injustice. I guess that was kasi aktivista ako nung college, no. So at lagana pang kawalan ng katarungan, no. In fact, that's why I became a lawyer for the poor kasi nga hindi ko maatim yung kawalan ng katarungan. At ang talagang walang katarungan over centuries is yung ating mga magsasaka at mangingisda. Sila ang nagpapakain sa atin. Ngunit ang trato natin sa kanila parang mababa pa sa hayop minsan eh. In fact, ang tawag natin sa pinakamababang uri ng pagkatao ay hampas lupa. Halos insulto na yun, hindi ba? Napaka-pejorative. Pero ano ba yung hampas lupa? Di ba? Nagbubungkal. Di ba pagsasaka yung naghahampas ng lupa? So really, the injustice has been pervasive and has been long-standing. My daughter said when she was 9, siguro first year ko sa Committee on Agriculture, sabi niya, we should treat our farmers like our parents because they're the ones who feed us. And I met si Mang Romeo in 2016 on my 4th year of 6th year, going on my 6th year as a farming advocate. Mang Romeo was a rice farmer sa San Leonardo, Nueva Ecija. Sabi niya sa akin, tinanong ko sa kanya, Mang Romeo, Cuba na eh. Sabi ko, ilang taon na po kayo? Sabi niya, 73. Sabi ko, ilang taon kayo nag-umpisang magsaka? Kailan ho kayo nag-umpisang magsaka? Sabi niya, 12 anyos. 61 years na siyang nagsasaka. 61 years na niyang pinakain ang lipunan. 2 ang hindi tama at hindi ko maatim. Mahirap pa siya. Una, nagsasaka pa siya. Dapat retired na siya, di ba? At pangalawa, mahirap pa rin siya. Kahit na anong lipunan, hindi dapat ganyan. Pero sa atin, we have taken it for granted. Parang as a matter of fact na lang, ganyan talaga buhay. Pero kahit na anong lipunan, hindi dapat ganyan. Hindi katanggap-tanggap dapat. Pero sa atin, nakasanayan na kasi. But just because nakasanayan, hindi dapat, it doesn't make it right. And that's why you asked me, since 2010, parang, sabi nga, di ba, yung magulang ba natin, binabastos ba, ninanakawan ba natin, di ba, winawalang hiya ba natin, di ba nirerespeto natin, binibigyan natin ng galang. Ganun dapat ang magsasakat mangingisda. So that's what drives me. Sabi nga what inspires me, That's why I also went into farming. Kasi sabi ko, unless I do farming myself, hindi ko maintindihan ang nararanasan ng mga magsasaka. At nung nagumpisa ako magsaka, tinamaan ako ng Glenda sa Amadeo, sa Alfonso, direct hit. Naubos yung tanim ko. 10 araw na lang mag-harvest na ako ng mga 600 kilong lettuce. Naubos lahat. Pati yung punla ko na 15 days na pang transplant ko na, ibig sabihin makakatanim na ako ulit. Naubos din lahat. Wala pa kaming kuryente. Doon ko nakita, every year hinaharap ito ng ating mga magsasaka. Pero every year nagtatanim pa rin sila. That's where I found a newfound respect, diba, for our farmers and our fisherfolk. Parang talagang matibay ang dibdib. Tsaka talagang babangon muli. And ever since then, I said, it will be my mission and advocacy na ipaglaban sila dahil dadating din ang panahon, gaganda na ang kalidad ng kanilang buhay at lahat tayo makikinabang. And it's only just. Hindi ako makatulog sa gabi, niisip na ganyan ang sitwasyon tas wala akong ginagawa.
Thank you so much, sir.
Salamat.
Okay, maraming salamat, sir. Again,
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for giving us this valuable time and opportunity to hear from you directly, to hear your thoughts, your plan and program of government if you will be elected. We believe that only honest, competent, and truly caring leaders with vision like you and VP Lenny would bring us back to the track of meaningful progress and development. We will pray for you. Makakaasa po kayo na nasa likod nyo kami sa laban nating lahat ito. Maraming salamat po sa lahat ng nag-attend.
Salamat din, June. And
Maraming salamat po.
Dito, nandyan si Dennis. No? We will get your questions. Dennis is from my staff. He also put his contact number. Did you put your contact number, Dennis? Pakilagay na lang dyan sa chat box so that if there are questions or additional information you want to share with us, you want to get in touch with our office and see how we can help each other, please feel free to do so.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, June, and thank you to Roy, to Bobby, and to everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Salamat. Ingat
Maraming
kayo.
salamat.
Thank you, sir. Ingat po kayo.
Thank you, po.
Picture. Thank you,
Maraming
sir.
salamat, sir.
Picture pa
Thank
muna.
you, Senator.
Magpi-picture taking tayo, pero yung mga iba picture din ang kukunan
Hindi na kaya.
picture taking ng picture. Okay. Bye.
Sina.
Okay. Good. Okay.
Thank you, Senator.
We're good?
Thank you so much.
Okay, I think we're good.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you
very much po.
Okay.
Thank you
Senator.
for your sacrifice and your hard work and making us proud. Salamat sa inyong sakripisyo rin at sa inyong trabaho saan man kayo. Mag-iingat po kayo and hope to see you back in Manila and back in the Philippines at some point. Wag na tayong umabot kay Mang Romeo sa pag-retire. Dapat mas maaga at na-enjoy nyo na yung mga apo ninyo. Ika nga. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
salamat po, sir.
Thank you po. Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Ingat lahat.
Nga po.
Salamat po.
God bless, sir.
Thank you,
God bless.
Senator.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,